Hi, my name is Adrienne. I am the ketogenickutie. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I wanted to discuss my keto journey because I had never really taken the time to talk about my journey at length. I just kind of started posting videos last week, and I have a couple if you want to go back and look at some of them. But I really didn't introduce myself properly and say what I needed to say about this channel. This channel was designed to inspire others. I am a wife, a mama of 3, and I work full time. And a lot of times when things like that are happening, you think, oh, I don't have time to eat what I'm supposed to eat, go work out, do all this stuff, because life gets really busy and hectic. But I wanted to inspire others that you can do that. You can change your life with food. You can change your life through discipline. You can change your life through many things. So in this video, again, I wanted to discuss my keto journey and just kind of how I came to be the ketogenickutie. So stay tuned. I started my keto journey in February of 2018. Now, normally in my experience growing up, I never really had a problem with weight. And even when I started the journey, most people were like, well, you're a good weight. But I knew I didn't feel well with that, being that weight. I'm only 5'4", so it was, when I would gain weight, it would be very taxing on me. You know, my knees would hurt. I would just feel overall just generally bad. Throughout my pregnancies, that's when I would gain the most of my weight. The highest being my 3rd child, I had gotten up to 220 pounds. And I felt that, you know, I could get that weight off. I usually did not have a problem getting weight off after having my babies. It would just take some time. Between the first 2, it was only 24 months, and I really hadn't lost that much weight before I had gotten pregnant again. Now between my 2nd and 3rd, it was about 7 years. So I did have time to lose weight, and I did so with, I did Weight Watchers, and that worked for me. But this go around, after this pregnancy, I did not want to do anything that I felt I had to sustain long term as far as payments were concerned. I wanted to do something that I learned about and I trusted that I could carry on throughout the rest of my life and know the tools and have the tools and not have to pay to post into an app or whatever the case may be. So with keto, my brothers were doing keto maybe July of 2017, I think they started, and they started telling me about it. Well, during that time, I had just had my child in February, and I didn't want to start anything new while I was breastfeeding. So I decided to kind of read up about it because I'm a nurse, and when somebody tells me something, I do want to find out the information myself so I can see how it works with the science that I have learned over time and in my experiences of the human body. So I started reading about it and understood the mechanisms of it, and I thought that, hey, I think if it worked for them, we got the same DNA, it could work for me as well. So I decided that after I would finish breastfeeding, which would be February of 2018, I wanted to start at that point. Well, February rolled around and I had all my tools together, I had all my information that I needed, and during that same time that I wanted to start, a friend of mine, we were on a couples retreat, and one of the spouses of the couples that we were going with was doing keto, and he had tremendous success with it so far. So I just kind of watched, like when we went to the grocery store to pick, to get food for the house we were staying in or whatever. I just kind of watched the things that he was buying and try to see how we could incorporate his way of eating into what we were cooking. And when we went out, I just kind of watched what he was ordering, and I'm like, okay, could I do that? And the answer was yes. I mean, he was ordering like wings and, a veggie, and I would have liked to have fries with mine, but I was like, that's a part of, changing the course of what he was doing. And he was very disciplined in that. So one of my other friends that was there, she's a nurse as well, and she said, well, Adrienne, give yourself a chance to, get your meals ready and get your grocery list together before you just start on Monday after we get back from this retreat. I took her advice because I felt that, coming off a trip, I shouldn't have to just jump right into something. I do need to plan, and that's exactly what I did. So after getting back from that trip, I took the next week, I think we got back on maybe a Monday. So I took Tuesday through Friday to try to think about, what I was going to get from the grocery store. What was I going to eat the next week when I got started? What my goals were. Why was I doing this? And I knew my why. The reason was I wasn't feeling well with the way I was feeling after having my child. I don't think I said that part, but after having my son and breastfeeding for a year, I was able to go from 220 to 190. So that's about a 30-pound weight loss, just through breastfeeding. And I really didn't work out during that time because breastfeeding is like a whole exercise machine within itself, making milk and feeding the child and all that stuff. So I didn't really work out during that time, but I was able to lose 30 pounds. And I always had good success with breastfeeding and losing weight and that kind of thing. But that just wasn't enough. So when I started keto, I was 190 pounds. When I February 2018, I was 190 pounds. And I'll insert a pic of what I look like at 190 pounds somewhere in this video, so you can see throughout the journey kind of how things changed over time. So during that week when we got back, I took the time to try to make a meal plan, try to think about what I was going to get from the grocery store. I uploaded my FitnessPal because that's what my brothers were using to track their foods. I later found out about Carb Manager, which automatically puts in your net carbs. That's a whole nother video. I'll talk to you about net carbs later. But anyway, I did my FitnessPal so I could start uploading my foods and figuring out. I did my macros so I could know how much I needed to be eating. I learned the 75, 20, and 5 macro breakdown, so I know how much fats to be taking in, how much carbs, and how much protein. After all that was done, it was D-Day. It was time for me to start. And I think I started maybe around February, 20-something, because it was after Valentine's Day when we went on that trip. Or during Valentine's weekend, we went on the trip. My first day, I felt fine. I thought everything was going to be great. And it was great because I kind of, just ate as I normally. I ate breakfast, I ate lunch, and ate dinner. And I just made sure I just didn't have any carbs within that. And my brother told me, he was like, you're going to feel great the first day. You're going to think you can conquer the world because your body's still really feeding off of the carbs that it had in it before you started. And he was absolutely right. He did tell me about the Keto Flu. I, for some reason, did not think it would happen to me, but it did. So the second or third day, I went about my business of eating, and I called him around lunchtime. And when I woke up that morning, I felt a little funny. Not funny in the sense of like I was making people laugh, but funny in the sense of I didn't feel like myself. I felt kind of foggy, and I was like, well, maybe it's because I didn't get enough sleep last night. Not even thinking about keto, I just said, oh, maybe I'm just not feeling well. Went on about my day, ate some breakfast, still didn't feel really well. It was like I had a headache all day. I was really irritable. And when I called him to talk to him about it, he said, it's the Keto Flu. So I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? He said, do everything that you're doing, just amp it up a little bit. Like whatever water you're drinking, drink some more of it. When you take it in your veggies, eat some more veggies. You take it in your fat, eat some more fat. By the following day, I felt a whole lot better. I didn't feel 100%, but I felt a whole lot better. And what I learned during that time of the Keto Flu is that my body was really just depleting itself of the electrolytes, because you pee a whole lot when you first start going into keto. Your body starts switching over to ketosis. You start peeing a whole lot. So everything that you're peeing out is the electrolytes that you need in your body. So you have to replenish that. You have to make sure you're replenishing that. So I learned that the hard way because I didn't prepare for it. I really thought that I could, throw a couple of meals together and get through the week and see how the process was going. But I really had to be strong enough to accept what was happening. And I think a lot of times when people get to that point of the Keto Flu, they're like, forget this. I need some carbs. I need to fuel myself with something that's going to make me feel better. I need to feel better. But no, during that time, you need to push through and increase your veggies and increase your salt intake and increase those, get that sodium and potassium balance back so that you can feel better. And that is included with your veggies, your fats, and drinking some more water. get that water into you as well. So my first week of keto, how much did I lose? I lost 7 pounds. And girl, you could not tell me not one thing. When I saw that 7-pound weight loss, oh my God. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is going to lose 7 pounds. Everybody's body is different. I've had people that I've coached since my journey, and they lost 10 pounds the first week. I've seen people that have lost 2 pounds the first week. I've seen people that says, I've tried this and I ain't lose anything this week. Then you have to just revamp and see what works and see what did not work and just go from there. So first week on, I was ready to keep going. I did not have any inkling of stopping because that 7 pounds showed me that I was doing something right. And I tested my stick, and I had bought these keto sticks, and I tested it and I saw where I was in ketosis. So it was no stopping me at that point. After that, I didn't have that big of a loss every week after that. I mean, who's looking to lose 7 pounds every week? I mean, that just did not happen for me. I went back down to like a 1 to 2 pound weight loss each week after that. It did not discourage me because I was used to losing that much with Weight Watchers in the past. And I understand that 1 to 2 pounds a week is a healthy balance or healthy weight loss. You don't want to go into anything new, losing that much weight every week, 5 and 7 pounds a week, because then you're not going to sustain it. Once you hit your goal, you're going to feel like you can go right back to whatever you were doing, eating however you were eating. And that's just not how it works. That's just not what happens. You want to have a nice flow, a nice, weight loss that's at measurable amounts, so that you will be able to sustain that over time and continue and want to continue. If it was some get skinny quick scheme and take this pill and you'll drop 30 pounds tomorrow, then everybody would be doing it and not feeling the best in that process, and having to maintain that by taking the pill or whatever the case may be. Who wants to do all that? I didn't. So again, I maintained a 1 to 2 pound weight loss, and people would ask me, like, did you cheat during that time, or did you? Well, cheating was relative to me because I wasn't looking to get kicked out of ketosis, number one. Once I saw that stick was burgundy, I said, honey, I am not stopping this train. I'm going to keep this going. Because I understood at that point that my body was like a fat burning machine. So I really didn't think about increasing my carbs. That's what I call a cheat, increasing my carbs. But I didn't feel like increasing my carbs. I wanted to give myself 90 days to go into it and see how it was going to work for me and see my body change. And I think in that 90 days, I had probably lost about 20 pounds, 25 pounds. I hadn't really added it all up over time, but my goal was to be from 190. I wanted to go from 190 to I think I was 191 when I started, but I wanted to go to 150. I wanted my goal to be 150. The numbers, the weight loss numbers, that's another thing. You don't necessarily have to have some people say they just want to be healthy, they just want to feel well, they just want to be able to fit into whatever was their goal jeans or whatever. So you don't necessarily have to have a number, and I don't want people to get hung up on the scale and a number, because I kind of did that. When I had that 150 goal, I would not stop until I saw that. Even though I got kind of close to it and I felt like my body looked, fine at 155 or whatever the case was, I got really hung up on that number. And that's not necessarily something that you have to do. But what I did notice over the next 90 days that I gave myself was that I never measured my inches. And that's something that I do tell my clients when I'm working with them, is to get a measuring tape so you can measure your waist, measure your thighs, measure your hips, measure your bust, measure your arms, so you can see that even if that scale is not moving, that those inches are. Because over time, I started noticing that the jeans that I love, or the jeans that I could wear, they got so loose. And the first thing that I had to do but I didn't even buy a measuring tape. I had to buy a new belt, because my jeans, I had to hold them up, and I didn't really want to buy new clothes at that point. It had only been 90 days. So, again, I did not increase my carbs until about 90 days in. I started in February, and then in May, I was due to go on a trip for Memorial Day. And I said, well, we're going on this trip. I don't know if I'm going to sustain my, because I had been eating at home. I really hadn't eaten out since starting. I was cooking my own meals and preparing my own meals, and prep was a big plus for me. I'll go into I'll do a separate video about some of my best tips and stuff for keto in a later one. But prep was one thing that helped me out a lot. And I had been doing my foods at home, and I really hadn't been out to eat. So I knew on going on this trip or going out of town, I was going to have to eat out, and I was going to have to get, so I took snacks with me to sustain me while we were on the highway. But once we got there, of course, we, either ate at the hotel or whatever. So that was my first time kind of increasing carbs. And I really didn't do it that much because I didn't do a great job at the cheat, because we went to a seafood restaurant and I was able to get they had this platter with dips and stuff on it. And it was like seafood dips. And those are the things that I could have on keto, because it was like a cream cheese based kind of thing. I think I did have like a couple of hush puppies or something. So to me, it wasn't even a true cheat. It wasn't even great until the day I came back. I did go to a restaurant and I had like a Philly sub. When I tell you, I got sick as I don't even know what. I had fries with that sub, or chips or something they gave me with that sub. First of all, I had not had like sub rolls or bread or anything of that nature since starting. And then I had chips on top of that. When I got home that night, I was so sick to my stomach. It was like just increasing those carbs just overwhelmed my body in a way that I did not like. And I knew that the cheat or that couldn't happen for me. I don't remember gaining maybe more than 1 or 2 pounds over the course of that weekend. I don't even remember anything significant. All I do remember is, as far as weight loss was concerned, nothing significant, but I do remember feeling sick, and I knew I didn't want to feel like that anymore. So it took 90 days for me to change the amounts of carbs I was eating, and I did regret doing that. So my advice is just keep steady with what you're doing. If you go out of town, or if you go, on a trip or something, try to stick as close to the plan as you can. Now, if you decide to put it all down and just go eat what you want to eat, just be willing to accept the consequences of that, because I had to deal with that the hard way. And my stomach did not like that. Like each time I decided to do that, after that time, it didn't agree with me. So that was kind of a key of letting me know that low carb worked for me. It was the thing to do in my life. Now, after getting back from that 90 days and starting, kind of get myself back since I was sick from that carb increase, I had to go through the summer and things. And around July, I started noticing my body taking a different shape. Like people started noticing that, I was losing weight, and some of the things that I felt during that time, I was so much more, in addition to the weight loss, there's so many other highlights and benefits of keto that I learned. I was so much more energetic. I felt like I had energy to do whatever I needed to do. I felt like Speedy Gonzalez when it was time to, come home, cook dinner, take the kids to wherever they needed to go, get up in the morning. I was getting up before my alarm clock. And if anybody knows me, that is a very difficult thing for me to do, because I'm not a morning person. But I felt just energetic, just overall, just a sense of happiness, just my spirits were just uplifted, not just because seeing my body change, but I just felt like, I felt a lot better. I didn't have a lot of the knee pain that I was having when I had more weight on me. My mind was more clear. I could think a lot quicker, that fogginess that I was talking about earlier, or just the general, I can't think, blah, blah, blah. When you get into ketosis, it's like your body just takes on this, this thought process that is so quick and so intense. And it's very hard to explain, but I just know I felt a whole lot better than what I did when I had a carb-filled brain. It just felt really good to be in that state, and I knew I didn't want to mess that up. So I went through the summer. Again, in July was when I started really taking pictures and trying to notice, how my body was. And I'll insert one of the ones that I was super proud of. I somehow or another got in I had on the same like tank top and leggings outfit. And I was like, my body really has changed. Let me take a picture of this and try to find the other picture that I took. And that's another thing that I would suggest to you is take pictures so you can see your progress. I think I had developed some sort of way of kind of just avoiding the camera when I wasn't happy with my body. So even starting keto, I didn't take a whole lot of pictures. Now, when I thought I was halfway cute, yeah, I would take a picture or two, but I didn't document the process as well as I would have wanted to, and as well as I would advise you to do, because you want to see your growth. You want to see how you were on day 1 versus day 30, or day 60 versus day 90. You want to be able to, see those things that you have achieved, because it's not easy. It's not, I mean, keto is not hard in the sense of knowing what to do, but it is hard in the sense of changing your life or wanting to do a thing and actually executing that thing. Because you can want to do, I want to have X amount of dollars in life, but you have to be able to execute that plan to maintain keto and to do it successfully and keep it going. You can't just start one day and say, I'll do this for about 2 weeks and then I'll go back to doing what I want to do. Then I'll hop back on this wagon again because I know it benefited me. You gotta stay the course. You gotta keep pushing. So that's what I did. So July, I started seeing some really good benefits of what I was doing. I went into the fall. I did not track, I tracked in MyFitnessPal, my meals. Around the holidays, it was almost like my progress kind of slowed down. I wouldn't say stall, because I would go up a pound, go down a pound, go up 2 pounds, go down 3 pounds. And I don't remember doing anything odd that would have caused me to have gained weight. I did not increase carbs again until around the holidays. And at Christmas time was when I increased it the most, because I was eating foods that were familiar to me and familiar to, what my family what we would normally cook during that time. And I just said, hey, I'm going to have fun this Christmas. And my body paid for it, because I increased my weight a lot. And it was almost like I wasn't starting back over or anything, but I had to work that much harder at the top of the year. Now, it wasn't where I started in February 2018 by any means, but I was getting to a place where I probably was around 159, I want to say. So I was getting really close to my goal, close to Christmas. And so that was only about 7 months in or something. So I was really getting close to my goal. So I only had 9 pounds to get to my goal. And during Christmas, I just kind of blew it out the water. And I gained like 5 pounds. So when I looked up, I'm like, hey girl, you only have now you got 15 pounds left instead of 9 pounds left, and you got to get that down. So I knew I was in for a bit of some work to do, and I was a little upset with myself that I let it kind of happen. But I had to keep pushing. I knew I still wanted to do it. I knew I still wanted to make that goal. And I know if I had not decided to increase my carbs, that probably before the top of the year, I would have lost my 41 pounds that I wanted to lose. So you have to just kind of think about what is the most important at that time. Because looking back, I probably would not have beat myself up so bad about it. I would have just taken the time to think about what I was going to eat, jumping back on the next day, and not turning a 1-day carb increase to a 2-week carb increase. That I would not have done looking back. So top of the year, it was January of 2019. I turned 40 that year, and I wanted to go on a trip for my birthday. And that was reeling off the trails of Christmas, where I wasn't thinking about it. And I was like, well, I'm about to go on this cruise, and it's all the food on the cruise ships. And so needless to say, by the time I got back from my trip, that's when I had to start putting in the work. I had another trip coming up in May of that year. Yeah, I was 40, so I was going to do it big. And I was going to make sure I celebrated in all the ways that I wanted to celebrate. 40 is monumental. It's kind of a milestone. It's a milestone for me. So I wanted to make sure I enjoyed myself. So May of that year was when I met my goal of 150 pounds. Could it have been done earlier than May of 2019? Yes, I do know that. Was I worried about it at that time? No, I wasn't, because I knew I was going to attain the goal. I knew I wasn't going to stop. And to this day, I'm still maintaining that 150 pounds. And it has been almost, a year from there. You know, this is, February. So I'm almost at a year of maintaining that weight loss. So I'm proud of that. And I know that you can do that too. I'll insert a pic of when I went on my trip. So yes, by the time I took that trip in May of 2019, I was feeling myself. I was excited about what I had attained. I knew that in attaining that goal, I was going to keep going. I knew that low carb was going to be the lifestyle for me. I knew that I did not want to remain in ketosis, and it was kind of hard to break that cycle after making that goal or getting to that goal space, because I continued to eat in that manner, and my carbs were still low, so much so that each week after that, you know, after getting back and kind of getting myself back into the swing of things, I had started losing weight again. So I had got down to like maybe 148, 147, somewhere like that. It was under 150. And I just started, to me, I started looking like too skinny, or I needed some more weight on me. So I increased my carbs some. So nowadays, I try to, probably, if I had to track it, I guess I would be between 50 and 100 carbs per day versus the 20 carbs. I was under 20 carbs or less for me was what I was doing when I was in ketosis. And I did not want to remain in ketosis because I knew I would continue to lose weight, and that's not what I wanted to do. So nowadays, again, I am, you know, somewhere around 50 to 100, if that. I don't know if it gets there, but I know in some ways I do maintain those that weight. I've been able to maintain that weight is what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I hope that, you know, this video has given you the inspiration that you need to start moving, start doing something. Oh, working out. I did not mention anything about working out because I did not work out. I had a goal to work out. Life just had it where it was just busy. I'm not saying you don't have to work out, because if that makes you feel good to work out, please, by all means, work out. If you could fit it into your schedule, yes. I would walk from time to time in my neighborhood, or take the kids out, and we would just all go walk or whatever. But as far as going to the gym or paying a gym membership, no, I did not do that. I think I got a lot of exercise just running behind them and taking care of my family and just doing the things that I would normally do. Do I want more endurance in things and just trying to come up with some type of regimen? Because now I want to tone up and kind of get my arms a little tight, get my abs a little tight. So there's things I do have goals of doing in the future. I want to come up with something maybe that I can do at home. I know there's different things on YouTube that I can find, or different exercises and things that I can do at home on YouTube. So I'll try to look into that into the future. But I hope you were inspired to just get started. Hopefully my page will be some type of inspiration to you, that you can see some of the meals that I prepare, take some of the recipes, and just kind of create your own plan and your help with your journey. Again, I do coaching and things of that nature to help people get started on their journey. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link in the description box below. If you like my t-shirt that I have on, it says, "This is my body on keto." Any questions? If you like that t-shirt, I'll put the link in the description box as well. You can get you one. I hope that this has been great for you, as it has been for me to film it. I've enjoyed this process, this journey, this keto living, this low carb life. I've enjoyed all of it, and I don't plan to stop anytime soon. So, what do you want to do next? Get started. How do you want to get started? Just by starting. Don't think too much about it. Don't beat yourself up about what you're not doing. Just do something. even if it's nothing but say, okay, this week I'm gonna drink more water, or this week I'm gonna not eat any bread, or this week I'm gonna try to cut out my sugars. Just formulate a plan and do what you can do. Just do something. That's my only thing. Thank you for joining me today. Please tune into my channel. I hope that I've been some help to you in some way. If you have any questions about ketogenic eating or living, put them in the comments below. We can talk down there, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks. Bye.